Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Neon, and we're going to dip back in on the Alec Baldwin shooting incident, the Rust shooting incident. For those of you who have been living under a rock, Alec Baldwin shot and killed the director of photography, I believe, on the set of Rust, a Western that he was, I believe, a producer on, acting in. Very, very unfortunate, tragic turn of events, and we're going to do an update on this because I don't think we've talked about it since the news first broke, and a lot of developments, a lot of insight has come out since then, including questions as to why Alec Baldwin was not, following basic gun safety protocols. Why people on the set were not, more careful with the weapons. There's been talk about the armor on set, that there have been problems with her, that she's like 24 years old. There have been complaints about her. I guess Nicolas Cage had complained about her on another movie, and there have been some developments, of course. So we're going to talk about it. Before we get into it any further, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. Over 238,000 subs. Thanks so much for the support. We do talk about Hollywood, talk about movies. This is just absolutely tragic. It's not something we've been following every day. There are a lot of developments, but we really didn't get into it a whole lot when we first covered it because it just happened like 12 hours before, and everybody was still in shock at this tragic and completely preventable death on the set of this movie. And lots of things going on here. So we're gonna cover some of the news today. This was just a day or two ago. On the set of Alec Baldwin movie, some basic gun safety protocols appear to have been skipped, experts say. Now, there was a lot of talk about who's to blame. Initially, I know people said that Baldwin was, pretty reckless with the gun. He shouldn't have been pointing the gun at anybody or joking about pointing the gun. That basic gun safety protocol was not followed. And we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about, the updates on what actually went down or what they think has gone down based on, the investigation so far. More details being released about it. And then Alec Baldwin just like chilling out in Vermont. I don't think I'd be chilling out in Vermont, if it were me. Nicolas Cage complaining about this armor that worked on this movie, mishandled guns on a previous film. You guys have probably heard about it if you've been following the story, but apparently she fired off a round or something, and Nicolas Cage was very upset because there was no warning. And, he thought he was going to go deaf from the gunshot. So let's talk about this first, the handling of the gun. So it was Hannah Gutierrez Reed, the 24-year-old firearms expert, had recently completed her first film as head armor, wasn't the person who handed the gun that was fired to Alec Baldwin, according to the affidavits. That deviates from standard practice, say other armors and film industry veterans. Dave Halls, the assistant director who handed Mr. Baldwin the gun, according to affidavits, shouldn't have been the one to do so, the experts say. Mr. Halls, Ms. Gutierrez Reed, and Mr. Baldwin didn't follow the typical standard protocols to ensure a gun's safety on set, according to the film weapons experts and people with industry experience who reviewed public details. Now, I know an early complaint with Baldwin was, even if it's a cold gun, treat it like it's got live ammo in it. And, it's all hearsay at this point. I mean, we'll see what the sheriff's office says, but my understanding is that, there was maybe some horseplay involved, and unfortunately somebody paid the price for that. Every time we hand off a gun on set to talent, we show the chamber, bore, and magazine, said Chandler Kornblum, vice president of Movie Armaments Group, a Toronto-based weapons supplier. The actor has to signal they accept the gun is empty. Only then do I hand the gun off. A call sheet viewed by the Wall Street Journal for the set of Rust on October 21st, the day the shooting occurred, provides details of guns on set assigned to different characters. A Colt that Mr. Baldwin's character uses, a Remington, and 2 other guns whose makes and models aren't specified. The call sheet also lists a Sharp rifle, which likely refers to a Sharps rifle, according to an industry veteran. A person familiar with the set confirmed Mr. Baldwin was using a Colt revolver when the incident occurred. The shooting killed cinematographer Helena Hutchins, 42 years old, and wounded director Joel Souza. Moments before the shooting, Mr. Baldwin was sitting inside the church on the Old West movie set outside Santa Fe, rehearsing a scene, according to one of the affidavits. He reached across his body to pull the revolver from a holster, then pointed the gun at the camera lens, according to documents released by the sheriff's office. Susan and another crew member said they weren't certain the gun was checked for safety after a lunch break, according to affidavits. Mr. Halls grabbed one of 3 prop guns laid out on a rolling cart and handed it to Mr. Baldwin to film a scene. He yelled, "Cold gun," indicating the firearm didn't have live rounds, according to affidavits. Mr. Baldwin took the gun and fired it, an affidavit said. Obviously, that was not the case. The authorities are still investigating the shooting, including what kind of projectile was fired. Santa Fe Area District Attorney Mary Carmack Altwies said Tuesday her office hasn't yet determined whether any charges are warranted. Could be like involuntary manslaughter. I don't know. According to a list of inventory collected by the Santa Fe County Sheriff's Office and filed in Santa Fe Magistrate Court on Monday, a detective obtained boxes of ammo, 9 spent casings, and 3 black revolvers. There never should have been live rounds whatsoever near or around the scene, according to one of the affidavits. The company created to produce the film, Rust Movie Productions, said that the safety of its cast and crew is its priority. They were not made aware of any official complaints concerning weapon or prop safety on set. Film production had been halted, and the company said that it would conduct an internal review. Baldwin says he's cooperating with the Santa Fe Sheriff's Office. Ms. Gutierrez-Reed, Mr. Halls, Mr. Souza didn't respond to requests for comments. Yeah, a lot of people were blaming the armor, that she had mishandled guns on previous film with Nicolas Cage. 2 crew members told CNN that Gutierrez, 24, who was the lead armor on the set of Rust, mishandled weapons on a previous film project. This is yesterday. Stu Brumbaugh, the key grip on The Old Way, told CNN that she handled guns on the set of that project in a reckless manner and that he urged the film's assistant director to fire her. Oh boy. There's a universal way to handle weapons on set, and immediately red flags went up when I worked with Hannah. Brumbaugh said, "That's why I asked for her dismissal. This is why people get injured because of rookie mistakes." CNN has reached out to the film's production company and the assistant director on the film for comment. Nobody's gotten back to them, obviously. Lawyers are probably telling them not to. Brumbaugh cited an incident in which Gutierrez fired a gun near the film star Nicolas Cage without warning. "Make an announcement. You just blew my effing eardrums out," said Nicolas Cage. And then he walked off the set angrily, according to Brumbaugh. She was talking to the stunt coordinator, and she just fired off a round. Sounded like she fired at the ground, and that's when Nick really laid into her. That's when I said she needs to be let go. She's the most inexperienced armorer I had ever worked with. I have no idea why she wasn't let go. CNN has reached out to Cage for comment. He probably doesn't want to get involved in this shit. He doesn't want to get involved in this. The allegations were first reported by The Wrap. She's a daughter of longtime Hollywood armorer Thel Reed. So you think she'd know what she's doing, right? Rust was her second film as an armorer. She said on an episode of the Voices of the West podcast in September, she was nervous to work on The Old Way. "I almost didn't take the job because I wasn't sure if I was ready, but doing it like it went really smoothly." Well, apparently not. A source who worked on The Old Way and requested their name not be included for fear of professional reprisal told CNN they also had concerns about her work on the project. She walked out onto the set with live rounds with no announcement whatsoever to the cast and crew by her. She never announced to anyone she was walking on the set carrying firearms loaded with blanks with her. She didn't carry the firearms safely. She had pistols tucked under her armpits and was carrying rifles in each hand that were ready to be used in the scene. Firearms were aimed at people. She turned around and the pistols were tucked under her armpits were pointing back at people. On Wednesday, the Santa Fe County Sheriff Aiden Mendoza said investigators believe the gun fired by Rust producer and star Alec Baldwin contained a suspected live round. Everybody's cooperating with authorities. So what is going on here? So this is today, as of about an hour ago. Santa Fe County Sheriff says Rust Armour and assistant director are obviously the focus of the investigation. So she didn't hand him the gun. She didn't hand Alec Baldwin the gun, but she clearly was not ready for this. And there have been complaints about her performance on other films. Santa Fe County Sheriff is revealing more details about the investigation into the Rust shooting. Aiden Mendoza appeared on the Today Show Thursday following his joint press conference with the district attorney the day before. He made it clear that Alec Baldwin, who pulled the trigger on the gun-killing cinematographer Helena Hutchins and injuring director Joel Souza, has not been cleared in the investigation. However, Armour Hannah Gutierrez-Reed and Assistant Director David Halls are obviously the focus of the investigation, as the two, whose statements to investigators were made public yesterday, handled the gun before Baldwin and told the actor it was cold, it was safe, when there was actually live ammo in it. Now, that being said, I've heard, I don't know if this has been proven or not, I've heard stories, rumors, gossip that Baldwin was messing around, that he was angry at the director for asking him to reshoot a scene. I don't know if that's true or not. I don't know if that's been debunked, but people told us in the comments, and I'd seen some tweets about whatever, that the word was Baldwin was not following gun safety protocol either. He was just kind of waving the gun around, but he thought it was a cold gun. Again, you don't treat any firearm like it's unloaded, unless you know for certain it's unloaded, and clearly this one was not. Asked if Reed and Halls are the one facing criminal legal exposure right now, Mendoza replied, "I can say this, those two individuals are obviously the focus of the investigation. They're the focus." Asked whether that means Baldwin, who court documents stated was handed the gun and told it was safe, was in the clear. Mendoza said no. Mendoza said no. Nobody's been cleared as of yet. Again, there's 3 people that handled the firearm prior to the death of Ms. Hutchins, so those people will be interviewed, are the focus of the investigation, and so nobody has been cleared as of yet. As for what evidence they need to determine whether it was an accident or a criminal act, Mendoza said the focus of the investigation is how the live rounds got there, who brought them there, and why they were there. Whether it rises to the level of negligence or criminal charges, they'll work with the DA to make a clear determination. Mendoza said there's no reason why a live round should be at a movie set. Hutchins was hit with a live round, and investigators found a total of 500 rounds of ammunition, a mix of live, dummy rounds, and blanks, which they took into evidence. Okay. The information that we got in the industry is there should be no live rounds on set. So again, we're going to try to determine why they were there and who brought them there. It was noted in the warrant that Gutierrez-Reed was quoted as telling investigators that no live ammo was ever kept on set. Mendoza said, based on the investigation, no, obviously it isn't an accurate statement. That was a live round that struck and killed Ms. Hutchins, so it's not an accurate statement as far as I'm concerned. So yeah, why was there live ammo on set? As for Halls telling investigators he couldn't remember if Reed had spun the drum for him, which is part of his job, and checking to make sure only blanks or dummies were inside, Mendoza said they planned on speaking to him again for clarification. Sounds like there are a lot of people to blame. He also said they were going to try to verify reports stating that there were 2 accidental discharges on set prior to Hutchins' death, and that there had been some kind of target practice during downtime on set. He urged anyone that witnessed that to contact the Santa Fe County Sheriff's Office. This could have been prevented. This could have been prevented very, very easily. And that's what's so tragic about this. The more you hear about it, the more it's like, this is just some seriously dumb shit that happened that led to this horrible, horrible outcome. Alec Baldwin is hanging out in Vermont after the shooting, stunning local business owners. My jaw dropped. He was spotted in a small town picking up food on Monday, days after the Rust shooting in Santa Fe, New Mexico, that killed cinematographer Helena Hutchins. He resurfaced in a quaint town in Vermont just days after the shooting, leaving local business owners in shock. The owner of the Italian market of Manchester told Fox News in an interview on Thursday that Baldwin was in fact on foot in Manchester Center, Vermont, on Monday, picking up a food order from Christo's Pizza and Pasta, just a few businesses away from his. Monday afternoon, he was there. I was taking out my trash. There he was. You won't believe who was just in here. He told me and my jaw dropped. Stern said he has not physically seen Baldwin or his wife Hilaria and their children, although photos surfaced early Thursday of them standing outside the shop. I know those poor folks over at the pizza place are getting bombarded than I am. The business owner added, it's crazy that Baldwin ended up in the small family-friendly vacation town to hunker down in the aftermath of the shooting, given that it's not exactly a spot too many high-profile figures pass through often. There are a couple celebrities who have come through town before, but this is pretty newsworthy. Why the hell is he going to a vacation town eating pizza? He was dressed in black by himself. It's a quaint little New England town. God. Anyway. Yeah, I think this is going to get really complicated. Apparently, Baldwin's not off the hook. So, a lot of blame to go around. Very unfortunate that this happened. Didn't have to happen. Could have been avoided easily if they just followed protocols. But we might dip back in on this if there's any other big news. We just wanted to do an update because, you know, we haven't talked about it since it first happened, and there's a lot going on. So I'm going to wrap it up. Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. We'll talk later.